Hi everyone, if you're feeling down or in a bad mood, this compilation of funny episodes and amazing phenomena of nature is guaranteed to loosen you up and put you in a good mood. Under the wing of an airplane about something, a lightning discharge crackles. Someone got a convenient place for observation. This is the kind of thing you've probably seen in sci-fi movies before. Well, this is the real deal. When a new bridge is better than an old one, you can remove an obstruction. Sometimes nerves are stronger than building materials. Even in such matters, perfectionism is proof of professionalism. Maybe he enjoys his work so much, first cutting chips and then taking out smooth tubulars, and someone, on the contrary, doesn't sweat it. One little boy didn't get to play with robots, cars, and airplanes, so when he grew up, he became the driver of a giant excavator. Shall we fly? Through the clouds to the landing strip, a fabulous view in good weather. The figure in action is the corkscrew. The wider, the slower, the narrower, the faster. Want to see what Superman's face-to-face flight looks like? Too bad you can't feel that wind, but it's there. The sensation of free flight can't be compared to anything. That's probably why this sport has so many fans. Not everyone prefers the standard parking lot. Some very skiddy people like to skid. A retro car is more than just a body. If the engine is running, the car can go, despite a bit of a mess in the interior. A jewelry shop? Well, almost. It's a completely waste-free auto dismantling shop, where it takes a few minutes per car. The literally gutted body is sent for remelting, and the parts are sent to their destination. Matches and sawdust are made very quickly. Literally in one motion, the key is to have a fierce forest harvester. He said, "Let's go," and pressed the trigger. The rocket engine has been successfully tested. However, if everything works properly on the ground, in the air it sometimes behaves differently. There's a tower on the left, a tower on the right, and a Spider-Man truck in between.
For the city, right? And look at this. Big building up there, big building down here. And what happened, Mr. Drifter? Lost it? Huh? What happened?
You have a chain of events in front of you. To anchor, you must first lay the chain correctly, as acceleration can make movement dangerous. Don't get in its way. When the reverse signal beeps annoyingly, it becomes contagious. If you're really passionate about getting the hook out of the fish, someone wouldn't mind getting something out of you. Maybe this guy's better at fishing tackle and has come out to help. There was a large crocodile crossing the street. I have a feeling no one wants to mess with a pedestrian like that until he decides where to go after all. If there are fish factories, then there must be fish pipelines. One, if your boss doesn't start the morning at the office with this workout, that's the only reason to love him. It doesn't matter where we're going. What matters is who's leading us. Bravely, comrades, keep up. If the drum is on top, it doesn't mean the concert is canceled. The duo performs under any conditions. A large horned load is transported to the farm in a special way, and it's also an attraction.
This is fine.
When it's hot, a Charcot shower is the best treatment. Massage included. Sign up for a session in advance. One stall is open. When the flies are virtual, you can get a spider. Here's where there's more passion than many TV shows. Looks like one of these two didn't spend the night at home. I'm not of that batch, just traveling with them in a crate. You don't come down this road without stopping. You gotta give a patrolman a treat. Seems like this isn't the first time these guys have driven through here and already know what he likes. The bears are kids too and want to ride along with everyone else. Only the company scatters for some reason with the screaming. Look, why do you need a rug in the woods? There's soft grass. Get off, I said, give it back. This is what you might call a seal rookery, or when they say, there's a pond of them out there. A seal doesn't need fins or a surfboard. All options are built in by default, even communication skills. Unpacking for the new season is total self-care. What if, when we took off an old coat, we ate it? It's not a cement mixer and it's not a jet of mud. It's just a big snake had a good lunch and now it's hard to move, which is why it's taking so long. It's not beach volleyball and not pussy and whiskas, but the truest meatball and acrobatics performed by a predator. The excursion is not a whale's tail in the distance, but a real one-on-one meeting. I would have dropped my phone from surprise. Well, the artist may not look presentable, but it's real rock and roll, baby. The sea monster that's coming ashore is actually a huge flock of small fish. It's just that there are so many of them that they've caused the water to turn into a dark mass. Sometimes trees grow on.
What?
Other trees, and feel good about themselves. The Polynesian volcano. Hunga Tonga has once again put on a spectacular show. Its eruptions regularly change the contours of an uninhabited island, and the huge wave from its activity has traveled so far that it has been felt by several countries around the world. It's just a whirlpool, nothing to do with witchcraft and no black pearl nearby. And here we have both the Black Pearl and 21st Century Pirates. This canoe can easily continue traveling as a submarine. Waterfalls, just a waterfall. Just water, lots of water. Now this is an actual well in California. It's best not to swim near this place. The gravitational force starts sucking anything else hundreds of meters away into the hole. It's not just an obstacle course, but a test. That's how Japanese special agents pass the GTO standards. Simply put, it's a ninja exam. And it looks like this guy passed. And now for the escalator car wash. The key is to set the tone, and foam, gravity, and acceleration will do the work. Another operation of the laws of physics, the law of conservation of body energy. A body that jumped out of a window correctly will return to the window. It's not easy to climb mountain slopes, but you can't do much tumbling there. We rehearse in the pavilion. Now it's clear why climbers train. They will have to do something similar later. So what if it's a tornado? You can get around it. Have you ever seen how rails, sleepers are laid, just where jewelry technique is needed? For some reason, they work with their hands. This is not a caterpillar, but a well-coordinated work of an orchestra of rowers under the control of an experienced conductor. Not even a kite, but a whole dragon was launched from this field. A grand creation. I wonder where it will fly. The cycle of Sambuca in nature revolves around the bartender. One precise movement, and the wheel is started. This is how cargo is delivered by water. A refreshing sea breeze, sighs, and a slight rocking motion are the constant companions of cargo ships. A useful thing to know about cyclones is that they can produce tsunami-like shockwaves of frightening size. We are now seeing similar footage captured in India. Sometimes the waves soar so high that they produce the illusion of clouds. Do you think these SUVs were washed in this original way? Otherwise, how they ended up in the abundant foam any versions? Who knows what kind of joke the ocean will pull? Today it gave out a batch of some dirty and sticky snow. They must have had a seasonal general cleanup inside there. You can watch this show endlessly. The edge of the wave seems to be illuminated with fluorescent ribbons. This is the merit of plankton, which in the darkness acquires neon reflections. Beautiful, isn't it? Interesting effect when water and water are two big differences, and they take their time to mix, reminiscent of Czech cut beer. Water is a tenacious and insidious element. It only pretends to be soft. Watch it playfully roll up metal. And these houses decided to move to a new place, but for some reason they set off at night. It's just amazing how slow the drivers are. Did they all agree not to look in their mirrors? Drove, but didn't have time. The bridge was swept right out from under my feet.
Habis.
Those who build a house over the river are wise. When the time comes to tear it down, the river will do it for you quickly, accurately, and for free. You can make a movie too. That's how easily a whole bus got sucked into a quagmire of mud. Good thing it was empty. For comparison, this is a waterfall in Indonesia. And this, folks, is a mudslide in Indonesia. The real wonderland is now before us in all its glory. This is what the fall of the king looks like, the epic plunge of an iceberg into the abyss. You and I get the soundtrack, and eyewitnesses get the actual cracking of a huge ice floe. And separated, as in the sea, glaciers. Tourists in Greenland are sometimes shown an iceberg show. An ice block decided to crack right in front of their eyes. Now we know how the multi-ton ice crackles when parting. When a glacier splits, it can get wacky. A huge water float either creates a surf wave or a whirlpool. It's better to scream with delight and get away in time than to scream with fear when the boat flips over. Nepal is a mountainous country, and avalanches are part of the living conditions here. But tourists need to know the code. See an avalanche coming and run is right. See and stay to film is wrong. See an avalanche, pray, and film is wrong. Running fast and praying is the most correct answer. Nature has no half measures. All portions are XXL size. We watch a glacier descend beautifully and majestically into a lake. When spring arrives, birds sing, flowers bloom, streams run, and mountain peaks dump tons of melted snow and mud down. You've just arrived in the Himalayas, set up camp, built a fire, and pulled out your guitar. And lo and behold, there's an ominous avalanche creeping up on you. Yeah, guys, get your feet out of the way. In a few minutes, it will be putting out your campfire. When the water is colder than the air, white lambs can form on the ice crust. The phenomenon is rare, but very pretty. When the current of a river forms a centrifugal motion, in cold weather, the ice solidifies into a perfect circle and shows us the disk of the moon on the surface of the river. These gingerbread houses are not decorations for Christmas, but the mischief of an ice storm in Canada. When you live near Ontario, you can get trapped in an ice storm. Icicles can be found under roofs, on rocks, and under the ice crust of a lake in Antarctica. Amazing! If they don't melt, then the water is also icy. The question then is, why is a diver swimming there? And now we are not driving, but on the contrary, the snowstorm is coming at us. It is a deceptive optical effect, so strong wind and snowfall in the face. An amazing phenomenon of nature, a fountain that releases a geyser. Iceland is a fantastic country that will amaze you with its views. We don't know how long our cameraman waited, but he achieved the result. The geyser is alive. Probably if Baba Yaga opened a fast food business, she would cook her prey in a kitchen like this. A mud volcano is a cloaca. An Indonesian volcano called Fire Mountain is trying to live up to its name, but so far it looks like a giant smoking ashtray. There are avenues of lava in the world. For example, an active volcano in Ethiopia shows us its riches. The incredible power and beauty of a glowing lava river moves towards us. Would you dare to stand close? When Hawaii's volcanic eruption ends and the lava cools down, new attractions are ready for tourists. Come and admire the fresh stucco. This is not a computer effect, but real blue lava. The color is so bright because the lava contains sulfur, because the lava has sulfur in it. This is probably the most beautiful eruption in the world, which can be seen at the Kawah Ijen volcano in Indonesia. Probably the most mesmerizing and inexplicable sight on the planet is the northern or polar lights, when colored sparks of fantastic hues play in the sky. Here I would put on some music, a warm tent, and sit there all night. A very rare but mesmerizing sight, a rainbow that lives in a cloud. This effect is produced when the storm front is very high and the sun's rays are refracted by the clouds. This is what happens when the thunderstorm isn't over, the sun hasn't set yet, and the rainbow is already out. There's nothing to say. It's a sight to behold. Whoever finds the end of the rainbow catches good luck by the tail. It's just a little thing left to catch.
Mom, I found the end of the rainbow!
When one of these is looming over your town, it's tempting to think that evil witchcraft is real, and the very name of such layered rain clouds, nimbostratus, sounds like an incantation. The ominous whirling of such a spiral sausage in the sky does not bode well. Appreciate the speed of this Yule. When a cloud in the shape of a huge eel floats across the sky, there's obviously a lot of electricity in it. This footage was captured in Australia. This is what an approaching thunderstorm front looks like. A drone has captured footage of an avalanche of clouds enveloping the tops of picturesque hills, and it's stunning. A fistula has formed in the cloud from which a mini tornado siphons. The kids are laughing because it seems to them the cloud has decided to play a joke. Sometimes nature shows all the tricks at once. Here you have a sunset, storm clouds, and a rainbow in one sky. Choose which view to enjoy. One moon, two moons. Wait, is this a prank? The rain cloud moved so fast that the cameraman didn't have a chance to film the story to the end. He managed to save his phone. In a good scenario, the apocalypse should start like this. But this time, apparently, there was just a rehearsal.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And now we're seeing what the exact fulfillment of the 50% rain weather forecast looks like. If the garbage cans decided to get together, they probably have a backlog of issues. It's pointless to try to stop them. They've been waiting a long time for the right weather to establish a union. An ominous, rare, and mesmerizing scene. Lightning inside a thundercloud. It's extravagant! They also say that lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. Not only does it strike, but it sticks to it. Can someone explain why tornadoes are so fond of traveling along roads? It seems like it's more convenient for them to travel along highways too. The sight of that mushroom cloud alone gives you goosebumps, not to mention the tornado's trunk peeking out of it. Now imagine what it was like for those who filmed it. It's amazing what makes people stop on the road and film such horrors instead of speeding past the danger. After all, you can't win a tornado race with a car. On this clear day in Colorado, there were no hurricane warnings, and here it is. Just look at the power. Just watching, just marveling. Monumental and powerful. Tornadoes are better watched on a screen than in person. The witchcraft in the field is not the work of the village fairy. It's a dry tornado, a mini tornado swirling over dry patches of land. This is what chaos looks like. It's unclear what's going on around you, and there's no chance to get an outside view. Rain is a grace to nature, until lightning sizzles into your favorite palm tree. Admire the power of the wind. It feels like the tree is a newly planted flower that is not rooted well. I wonder what those guys who ran up to it wanted to do. Put it back in its place. If you don't close a window in time in hurricane winds, you can't close it anymore. When the rains get under the tail and the spark gets the fuel and a tornado is still at hand, it looks scary! What if it goes for a walk? A sandstorm is fast, scary, and very dense. Imagine the second you couldn't breathe, couldn't see anything, and a hell of a lot of noise all around you. This cloud appears white, but inside it is dust and sand. Can you hear it hissing? The Earth bends like plasticine. If the surface is walking around like this during an earthquake, what is being done in the layers below? Whoops! We're going. A whole layer of land, along with trees, can move quite independently. It's called a landslide. India and landslide are almost synonymous. This is how a section of highway is buried underneath in a matter of seconds. It's a good thing no one was hurt, but the detour will take another half a day. It's good to shoot a massive landslide from a safe distance, but sooner or later the dust and wind will reach you, so find your escape route first. Never say, "Am I going to get torn up now?" This tree has apparently repeated the saying one too many times. And now we have the aftermath before us. The ocean knows how to pave too. One, the Earth is definitely alive. It breathes, grunts, and gurgles like it has a runny nose and a little cough. The Earth sometimes looks like a green dishwashing sponge. There seems to be a buildup of foam inside, and the bog is chiming. Nature has no meaningless creations. If this pebble has a button attached to it, it must be for something. This huge stone egg seems to be mocking us. It's not happy about being dug up and disturbed. A strange living cloud is flying very fast and low over the ground, for it is not a cloud, but an untold number of birds. If you can call them a swarm, that's what it is. This is not just a big nest, but a whole bird commune. At least 500 birds live in this structure. What if they all sang at the same time, drowning out the sound of Niagara Falls? The pelican is a proud bird with good reactions, but if lunch jumps into your mouth, it's a sin not to accept such a gift. Either our brains are inclined to adjust everything to a pattern, or indeed, birds fly in a horizontal straight line, using the built-in magnetic navigation system. These animals are as terrifying as they are intriguing. Imagine a fox putting on a black cape and flying into a henhouse to hunt. And that's how we got today's issue. Previous incredible selections of Eternity Lab Channel are already waiting for your viewing. Click on one of them.